Hello students and parents. In this video we're going to take a look at an overview of Microsoft Teams and how you can use it in your classes and learn more about making it more effective for you. So I'm on Microsoft Teams here. Before I show anything, I'm going to show you just a couple quick ways to make sure that you're getting to Teams and you're accessing it. If you're using the KCS student portal, you can go to the Microsoft Teams link right here. Or if you like to go to office.com, you can get all of your Microsoft Office applications and Teams will just be an icon right here. So now I'm going to go over and jump back into Teams. And the first thing I want to show is this left column over here. Microsoft calls this the rail. And a lot of times you'll just end up by defaulting on Teams and you get to see a box for each of the teams that you're a member of. A couple other things on this. You can click activity and this will show you recent mentions and things that have been happening. So if a teacher mentions you or mentions the group that you're in, or even posts an assignment, you can kind of get this feed of different types of things that have been happening that you might need to be notified of. So that's useful. You can click assignments. It really just takes you to the same place that you can get to when you go inside Teams. But it's there in case you need it. And then files is kind of useful as well. You can see recent files you've been working on or directly into your own OneDrive where you can see all of your documents that are owned by you inside of your OneDrive that way. Most of the things are going to happen inside of Teams here. So in this case, this is the sandbox team that I just used for examples. And I'm going to go back to this general channel. All of these on the left here are called channels. So by default, a lot of teams will just have one, but some teachers are starting to add more over here for various topics and questions, things like that. And then under each channel, you have these tabs across the top. The general channel is the only one that has the assignments tab in it right now. So that's where you would go to find assignments. And then once you're in a channel, so this one is the general channel, and the teacher has blocked students from being able to send messages here. So there's nothing I can do as a student logged into this. That's not where I wanted to go. There's nothing they can do to reply or post messages in the general channel. Now, if the student comes down to student questions, now the student can come down here and start a new conversation. If you hit the A, you get more formatted, and you can make your letters bigger and make a message that would go out to everybody in the class would be able to see it. The other thing too is you can reply to individual messages. So you can come up here and say and just write things to reply to things. So that's better than just creating a brand new post every single time you're making a message. It's better to kind of keep the threads in line rather than kind of filling up the whole page with with brand new messages. So just use the reply feature. And then once we get into the assignments, let's take a look at those. So when you go to the assignments tab, again, go to general, go to assignments, then you'll see all the assignments. You can do more past due to see all of them up here. Sometimes if you've completed one and it might seem like it's lost, you can remember to come down here and open this up so you can see completed. There's only one down there now. But I'm just going to grab one as an example. I'm going to click on this art history one. This is pretty typical where the teacher has attached a document that's all ready for you to start working on. And you can just click this and then be able to basically start editing and working on it. And then when you're done, you go in here and click turn in, and then that would submit it back to the student or back to the teacher. They can attach rubrics, so you'll see the rubric right here if the teacher has provided one of those as far as what the student is supposed to be accomplishing. And due dates, they can put instructions. In this case, there was no instructions added. I think I have another one that had instructions. Let's take a look. So this one had instructions. It could be links, all kinds of things. You also have the option to add more work. So as a student, you can click on the add work button and upload files from your OneDrive. You can add files, create a brand new file. You can upload pictures or any other documents from your device directly there, or even add a link to a specific website if collecting links is part of the assignment. So that is kind of getting to be pretty much it with that. One thing I'll show, when you are in here and you open up this document, by default it usually opens in read-only mode, and so you're going to have to click on edit document and then choose edit in browser. And in this case, it actually opened right in my browser here, and I think it's gonna let me start editing. But there are other ways to do it. You can, I think, hit the 3 dots and then open in Word Online. That'll open it in a new tab over here. So sometimes that's easier to work with if you want to open the document separately. So yeah, I mean, that's the kind of the overview of what goes on in Teams. A couple other notes I can show here. Let's take a look at the notes I wrote down. So you do have the option to use the Teams app for Windows, Mac, iOS, and Android. I've just been showing it in the web browser. The app on Windows looks almost exactly the same, and I believe the same for Mac. On Android and iPhone, they're obviously going to be a little bit different because they're smaller screens. If you are using a Mac, I'd recommend using Google Chrome or Microsoft Edge web browsers. Lots of people have had problems when they're using Safari on their Macs. Another note is that all students do have access to download the full Office program. So instead of editing this in Word Online right here, I could come and choose Open in Desktop app, and then I'd be able to edit in the full desktop version of the program. And the same thing with PowerPoint or Excel, anything like that. And the way you get that on your personal computer, if it's a school-provided computer, you would already have those programs installed. But if you wanted to put it on your home computer, that's free, available to you with our technology agreement with Microsoft. So you would just go back to the office.com as a student and then go to install Office and just click on the premium Office apps, be able to download those and install them on your computer. So that could be useful as well. Let's see what my other notes say. We talked about these things. Another note that you might want to do if you're using a computer at your house that's shared among multiple family members is having separate local accounts for each student and person in the family that's using those. So if you're on you can search for these and find out instructions, but you can create a local account on your Windows computer, and then one for each kid in the family basically, and that would kind of keep their work separate. Especially if you are using the desktop apps. Then that would allow each student to be logged in as themselves instead of getting it confused with multiple students trying to sign into the same Office programs. And then the same thing for Mac. If you search for that in Mac, you can add additional users to Mac. That kind of, again, just helps to separate things and keep people's work from getting confused. So yeah, that's basically it. The main things that I wanted to show you on using Teams. So I hope that's helpful, and definitely let me know if you come up with any more questions or things that you need to learn about how to use Teams for education.